The Bhagavad Gita is an 18-chapter section of the Bhishma Parva, one of the 18 books that comprise the great epic Mahabharata. At this point in the epic's elaborate story, the Pandava and Kaurava armies have assembled on the Kurukshetra battlefield, prepared for war. But the Bhagavad Gita begins not on the battlefield, but in the palace of the blind king Dhritarashtra, whose evil-minded son, Duryodhana, instigated the war. Inside the palace, King Dhritarashtra hears about the events on the battlefield from Sanjaya, who had previously been blessed by the sage Vyasa with the power to see and hear everything happening there.
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavaha Mamakah Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudam Duryodanastada Acharyamupasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamum Vyudam Drupadaputrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata Atra Shura Maheshvasa Bhimarjuna Samayudhi Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharataha Drishtaketusche Kitanaha Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamaujascha Viryavan Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarvayeva Maharataha Asmakam tu Vishishtaye Tani Bodhadvijottama Nayaka Mama Sainyasya Sanyartam Tan Bravimite Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samithinjayah Ashwattama Vikarnascha Saumadattistataivacha Anye cha Bahava Shura Madarte Tyakta Jivitaha Nana Shastra Praharanaha Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha Aparyaptam Tadasmakam Bhalam Bhishma Bhirakshitam Paryaptam Tvidame Tesham Balam Bhima Bhirakshitam Ayaneshu cha sarveshu Yatha bhagam avastitaha Bhishma meva bhirakshantu Bhavantas sarvayevahi.
After describing Duryodhana's actions, Sanjaya now describes the tense and terrifying situation on the battlefield, where warriors of both armies loudly announced their intention to attack.
Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuruvriddah pitamaha simhanadam vinadyochaihi shankam dadmo pratapavan tatas shankascha bheryascha panavanaka gomukaha sahasaivabhyahanyanta shashabdastu mulo bhavatu tatashvetairhayair mahati syandane stithau madavah pandavaschaiva divyau shankau pradatmatuhu panchajanyam hrishikesho devadattam dhananjayah Poundram dadmo mahashankam bhimakarma vrkodaraha ananta vijayam raja kunti putro yudhishtiraha nakulassaha devascha sugoshamani pushpakau काश्यश्च परमेश्वासः शिखण्डी च महारथः धृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च सात्यकिश्चापराजितः द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयाश्च सर्वशः पृथिवीपते सौभद्रश्च महाबाहुः शङ्खान् दद्मुः पृथक् पृथक् सघोषोदार्तराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि व्यधारयत् नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव तुमुलोऽभ्यनुनादयन् अत व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते तनुर्उद्यम्य पाण्डवः हृषीकेशं तदा वाक्यम् इदमाह महीपते.
Now the scene shifts from Dhritarashtra's palace to the Pandava side of the battlefield, where a magnificent chariot stands, occupied by the mighty warrior Arjuna and his charioteer, who is none other than Sri Krishna, an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Arjuna tells Sri Krishna,
सेनयोरुभयोर् मध्ये रथं स्थापय मेच्युत यावदेत्थान्निरीक्षेऽहं योद्धुकामानवस्थितान् कैर्मया सह योद्धव्यम् अस्मिन् रणसमुद्यमे योत्स्यमानानवेक्षेऽहं ययेतेऽत्र समागताः धार्तराष्ट्रस्य दुर्बुद्धेर्युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः.
एवमुक्तो हृषीकेशो गुडाकेशेन भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये स्थापयित्वा रथोत्तमं भीष्मद्रोणप्रमुखतः सर्वेषां च महीक्षिताम् उवाच पार्थ पश्यैतान् समवेतान् कुरूनिति तत्रापश्यत् स्थितान् पार्थः पितॄनतः पितामहान् आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा श्वशुरान् सुहृदश्चैव सेनयोरुभयोरपि तान् समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेयः सर्वान् बन्धून् अवस्थितान् कृपया परयाविष्टो विषीदन् अब्रवीत्.
After seeing so many beloved friends, teachers, and relatives in the enemy's army, Arjuna is completely overcome by grief, knowing that he will soon face them in mortal combat. Arjuna's intense reaction resembles the symptoms of what we today call a panic attack.
दृष्ट्वेमं स्वजनं कृष्ण युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितं सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते गाण्डीवं स्रंशते हस्ताद् त्वच्चैव परिदह्यते न च शक्नोम्यवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव न च श्रेयोनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनमाहवे न काङ्क्षे विजयं कृष्ण न च राज्यं सुखानि च किं नो राज्येन गोविन्द किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा येषामर्थे काङ्क्षितन्नो राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च तयिमेव स्थिता युद्धे प्राणां त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्याः पितरः पुत्राः तथैव च पितामहाः मातुलाश्वशुराः पौत्राः श्यालासम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान्न हन्तुमिच्छामि घ्नतोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतोऽखिं नु मही कृते निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीतिः स्या जनार्दन पापमेवाश्रयेदस्मान् हत्वैतानाततायिनः तस्मान्नार्हा वयं हन्तुं धार्तराष्ट्रान् स्वबान्धवान् स्वजनं हि कथं हत्वा सुखिनः स्याम माधव यद्यप्येतेन पश्यन्ति लोभोपहत चेतसः कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं मित्रद्रोहे च पातकं कथं न ज्ञेयमस्माभिः पापादस्मान्निवर्तितुं कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन.
Arjuna now considers the terrible consequences of war. Consequences not only for the many warriors who will die, but for their families as well. Since families are the backbone of every society, the entire social order is at risk of being destroyed by war.
Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaah dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo bhibhavatyuta adharma bhibhavat krishna pradushyanti kulastriyah strishu dushtashu varshneya jayate varna sankaraha sankaro narakayaiva kulagnaanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro khesham luptapindo dagakriyah doshairetair kulagnaanam varna sankarakarakaihi utsadhyante jati dharmaha kuladharmascha shashvataha उत्सन्न कुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुम अहो बत महत्पापं कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयं यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः यदि मामप्रतीकारम् अशस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः धार्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युस् तन्मे क्षेमतरं भवेत्.
एवमुक्त्वार्जुनः शङ्खे रथोपस्थ उपाविशत् विसृज्य शशरं चापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः.
Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishara Yogo Nama Prathamodhyayaha.
Assembled on the battlefield, field of Dharma, the Kuru's land, there stand my sons and Pandu's sons. What did they do, O Sanjaya?
Seeing the Pandavas' forces drawn for battle, prepared for war, Prince Duryodhana then approached his teacher Drona, and he said, "Behold, O master, standing here, the mighty troops of Pandu's sons, organized by your shrewd pupil. Drishtadhyumna, Drupada's son, archers bold who in war can match, even Bhima and Arjuna, Abhimanyu, Virata too, all of them mighty warrior chiefs. O Drona, may you now observe our own warriors illustrious, Bhishma, Karna, Ashwathama, and Kripa the victorious. Many other heroes stand here who have staked their own lives for me, equipped with weapons of all kinds, highly skilled in the art of war. The strength of our own troops is vast. Bhishma protects them all from harm, but their troops' might is limited, even though Bhima guards them all. Then the conches and kettle drums, cymbals, tabors, and trumpets shrill, all resounded quite suddenly, blaring forth so tumultuous. In a glorious chariot, to which white stallions had been yoked, stood Lord Krishna and Arjuna. On holy conches they did blow, Yudhishthira and Bhima too, Abhimanyu and Drupada, Drishtadhyumna and Shikandi. Upon great conches they all blew. The hearts of Dhritarashtra's sons were shattered by the dreadful roar, blaring loudly, resounding far through the sky and around the earth. Then seeing Dhritarashtra's sons, their swords raised high, prepared to fight, Arjuna, taking up his bow, addressed Lord Krishna with these words.
O Krishna, steer our chariot between both armies gathered here, so I can see those eager to fight, whom I must now engage in war.
Arjuna then beheld them all, his uncles, teachers, brothers too, nephews, cousins, and grandfathers, sons and grandsons, and friends as well. He surveyed all those gathered near, amassed in armies on both sides. Then with his great compassion stirred, Arjuna said in deep despair,
O Krishna, seeing my own folk here assembled eager to fight, my body shakes, my limbs fall limp, my mouth is parched, my hair on end, my bow slips from my quaking hand, and my skin seems to burn with fire. My mind is spinning round and round, no longer can I even stand. Our own teachers and relatives, for whom we are prepared to fight, all stand arrayed for battle here, giving up their own lives and wealth. I do not want to slaughter them, even if I am slain instead, since after killing our own folks, how could we live in happiness? How could we not be wise enough to turn back from this dreadful sin by discerning the awful wrong of destroying our family? If our family is destroyed, ancient dharma will perish too, and when the dharma has been lost, adharma will prevail for all. The social order will decline, and our women will be defiled. Those whose clans are corrupted thus are damned to hell, so we have heard. Oh, alas, we are now prepared to commit such a grievous sin, driven to slay our kith and kin, by our greed to reclaim the throne. If the Rashtra's well-armed sons were to slay me while I did stand, unarmed, resisting not at all, this would be far better for me.
Arjuna, having spoken thus, slumped down upon the chariot seat, casting off his arrows and bow, afflicted by great misery.